You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Good morning, Valley Forge, King of Prussia in the greater Philadelphia area. This is We the People, the Constitution Matters. I'm your host, Pastor David Whitney, along with my two great cohorts, constitutional instructor Phil Duffy and our warrior in the courtroom, Mike Giramita. Wait, that's the wrong show, isn't it? I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. We are live. Greetings to our loyal WFYL listeners around the world. Welcome back to your Philadelphia live stream, only on the Freedom Station. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again, because you still have the right to hear and the right to be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike G. As always, with me are Philly Chris, Russ the producer, and Liberty Lee. And you're listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters. And you can listen to our program every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So let's be heard. I want to remind our listeners that you can participate in the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas throughout the entire week by visiting MikeGinTheMorning.com. What's it called, Billy Chris?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
Hold your horses there, Russ. What is it called?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
How about you, Liberty?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
Rich Weaver, do you know what it's called?
I'm going to go with MikeGinTheMorning.com.
That is correct, sir. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barber, tell your Uncle Jerry, tell anybody who will listen to check us out at MikeGinTheMorning.com. I also want to remind our listeners about the powerhouse lineup we've got here at the Freedom Station. Kick off your mornings with Scott Adams, bringing you the Scott Adams Show, weekdays from 9 a.m. until 11. We've got the Kinetic Faith with friend of the program, Rick Crump, preaching values, service, and order, coming at you weekdays at 11 a.m. We've got the one, the only, Dan the Man Bongino, coming at you with the Dan Bongino Show, weekdays from noon right until 3 p.m. Intellectual giant Ben Shapiro brings you the Ben Shapiro Show, weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. And finally, a welcomed addition to the Freedom Station family, we've got Michael Knowles, bringing you the Michael Knowles Show, weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. So don't forget to tune in and show him some love. And with that, you know what time it is. Thanks for being patient, Russ. You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Now you can hit it, Russ.
You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
You know, we have a very special guest joining us on the program this evening. You may have seen him on a video done by our own Philly Chris, coming to visit him and talk about his area of expertise. We've got Richard Weaver joining us, the vice president of PNG. Richard Weaver is well known in the Delaware Valley area for his expertise in American coinage and bullion items from around the world. Having been brought up in the coin business, Rich has always been exposed to coins and would travel around to various coin shops and shows with his father, also named Richard Weaver, who is a beloved and respected dealer in his own right. Rich began his full-time career in coins in 1983. Wow. And he's proven to be a valued resource for collectors and investors, whether they're buying or selling coins or precious metals. From his humble beginnings, a 320-square-foot store, to now having multiple locations, DVRCC is a local company with a national footprint. Rich, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I look forward to it. It's a pleasure being here.
I really appreciate you coming on. You know, Chris, you've had a lot of nice things to say about Rich, and really, we're going to hold you responsible for this one, and that you get all the... I'm saying that in a good way. You get all the credit for bringing him on. I don't want to steal the credit for bringing Richard onto the program.
No, of course not. Yeah.
I know that this is an area that is very much of interest to you, and it's something that maybe a lot of our listeners aren't paying attention enough to, and should be. And
Mhm.
hopefully we could shed some light on that. So, Rich, why don't you tell us a little bit in your own words about what you do? I know I gave you the brief bio, so everybody's up to speed from the 1,000-foot view. But why don't you tell us? I'm sure you could tell us much better than I, right?
Sure, no problem. We at Delaware Valley Rare Coin, we're a family-owned business. We have 3 locations, one in Westchester, one in Broomall, is our main office, and also in Haddon Township, New Jersey. I hate to use the word cater, but we're here for the everyday person, whether you're buying, selling numismatic coins, collectibles, or you're looking to put money into precious metals, whether it's through physical possession or taking money out of your IRA and putting it into, precious metals that are stored as a secure depository. We can help out anyone with any of those issues, any of those problems, anything they want to do to kind of secure and preserve their wealth.
So where are you located in Westchester? Where is the Westchester location?
Westchester is Coins of Chester County. It's 20 North High Street in Westchester.
I've been to that location. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's an old 1792 built building. The gentleman that owned it before us, I've known for many years. It's been there almost 60 years. We took it over about 8 years ago. Our Broomall location actually got its start in the bazaar in Clifton Heights back in 1969. And we've moved here. We've been here since 1989. So, this is more like I said, our main corporate office. We travel around the country. And then our Haddon Township, New Jersey store, we just purchased last year. It's a good friend of ours. He's looking to slow down. So we got in there, took it over to, broaden our footprint.
Awesome.
Wow. Do you see any difference in attitude between people who come in Pennsylvania versus New Jersey?
Yeah, Pennsylvania is a lot easier because there's no sales tax on coins and precious metals in Pennsylvania. There's still a sales tax in New Jersey. We are working, trying to repeal that. I'm involved with that. I was, instrumental, pat myself on the back in getting the sales tax repealed in Pennsylvania. We fought it once back in '95 to get it repealed, and then it was about 5 years ago. Again, we had a pretty good fight out in Harrisburg, but we got it done again. So I'm proud of that.
I'm sure you're hailed as a hero. I don't think that anybody is saying, no, boo, we want sales tax, right?
Yeah, no, you don't get that argument.
Now, in New Jersey, they tax everything, though, right? I think there's a breath tax. I heard there's a rain tax over there.
You want to use the sidewalk, you got to pay.
Right,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. You can't do anything because it's theirs at the end of the day, right? It's the government's.
Yeah, but they used to say everything's legal in New Jersey, though.
I think the lyric was, in Jersey, anything's legal and as long as you don't get caught. Isn't that, who is it, Bob Dylan? That was a good one there.
Yeah, and don't bring a slingshot, right?
Don't bring a slingshot to New Jersey. Lots of stuff you can't do in New Jersey. But as far as the folks who come on in New Jersey, do you find that there's a serious interest in people investing in coins?
Oh, yeah. There's right now, with the uncertain times, the numismatic market, the rare coin, collectible market is very, very active. One of the biggest issues we're having now is something you never thought we'd say is it's just hard getting new material, new coins to sell to people. So we work. That's one of the reasons we travel so much. We try having a reputation, the years experience we have people that seek us out and do sell us. So it makes it a lot easier.
That's very interesting. A lot of our listeners might be hearing what you're saying and be interested in starting to get involved. I'm certainly no coin collector by any stretch of the imagination. I've got one. Philly Chris gave me a Donald Trump coin once.
That's right, one of the silver ones, yeah.
The silver Donald Trump coin.
Yeah.
But that's about it as far as the.
And I think I paid maybe $18 or $20 for it when I got it. What would that probably be worth now, Rich? It's an ounce.
$27, $28 we would sell them for now. So
wow.
So, pretty good.
So I'm going to sell it and become rich.
Gift that keeps giving.
That's right.
Rich, what would be a good place for somebody to start if they wanted to start to get involved? What does a beginner come on in and look to buy?
There's no right and no wrong way to do it. One of the biggest things, being the current president of the Professional Numismatist Guild, which is a worldwide organization. There's only 310 members. You're vetted, you're voted in by your peers. One of the first things I recommend is try to seek out a professional numismatist guild member. It gives a little more peace of mind and security to the individual that will be starting in that collection. Like I said, you come in, one of the things I like to do is show all the different types of coins. We have what we call a type set, which shows you the different half-cent, large cent, different 1 cent coins, nickels, 3 cent pieces, 2 cent, a sampling of everything. And I tell the people, look at it and say, what do you like? What attracts you? And see if it's a realistic goal of collecting, because there are some extreme rarities out there that you might never get. So, to start out slower. As kids, a lot of us had the blue Whitman folders that you put your pennies in.
Mm-hmm.
That was one way to start. But if you did it from 1909 up for the Lincolns, you had your 1909 SVDB, which has always been hundreds of dollars. And your 1922 No D, which has always been hundreds of dollars. So there's expensive coins in there. There are other ways to do it. Some of the modern issues, especially for younger children, they're starting. Nickels, some state quarters, state park quarters, the presidential dollars. They're probably not going to increase in value, but it'll at least get the collector juices flowing.
Mm-hmm. So, do people sometimes start with things like the Silver Eagle? I know Chris told me a story that he tried to tip somebody that, and they thought it was only $1, right? Is that the story, Chris?
Yeah, when I was living in the city for a while and used to, go out every now and then, I, on occasion, would offer it to, if the tip was, let's say, less than the value of the Silver Eagle, I'd say, hey, would you prefer this or this? And pretty rare, it would be pretty rare when they actually knew the value of the silver, which I was kind of surprised at, but that's something we could talk about tonight too. So yeah, they would think it was just $1. It's like those Mark Dice videos. You ever see those, Rich? The Mark Dice videos?
Is that the candy bar or the silver bar?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah.
I want to try that. I want to try that. Yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest things I use to tip, because of the traveling we do for, various people, whether it's the bellman at the hotels or whatever, I give out $2 bills.
Yeah, right.
And everybody hesitates.
Mm-hmm.
They look at it like, is this for real?
They think it's fake sometimes.
But no, it's real, and it's just something different, and they like it. A lot of them save them. They'll ask me about it. Well, hey, what can you tell me?
Right.
So I give them a little background. So that's always interesting.
Are they worth approximately $2?
The newer issues are. They a lot of people don't know that they are printing $2 bills. So there are newer issues. They all have green seals on them. They're Federal Reserve notes. If you get the older $2 bills that would have a red seal on them, that was a United States note. They have a little more value, up to higher values depending on the condition and the series of the note.
And you can get them at the bank if you ask for them, right?
Yeah, they should. Some banks will give them. Some banks don't really have that much customer service anymore.
That's right. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you have to pay to go to a machine now, right?
Right. Got to pay to put your money in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting times for sure. One thing I did want to mention real quick, we are doing the raffle tonight for those of you tuning in who saw the promotional video. For everyone who comments in the live stream tonight, we're going to do like a randomized raffle after the show at some point, and we'll get you a prize. And at some point, we'll announce that during the show today. But you're going to win something from Rich's store. So there is an actual raffle/prize tonight for those of you who checked out that video. So just wanted to remind everybody about that.
Great. Tell them what it won. They got the plunger that they were going to throw away.
Right, that's right. You got anything in here you're throwing out, Rich?
It's technically from the store.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we'll come up with something.
Right. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
For those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So I think it blows people's minds sometimes when they see a coin that and it's got the currency value on it and it's worth something completely different. And there would be multiple reasons why a coin would have a different value. Isn't that true, Rich?
Absolutely. It could be worth more just from its precious metals content. 1964 and before, dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made at 90% silver. So you have their silver value, which today on a half dollar is running around $10. So, if you want to give them to me at 50 cents. I'll take them all day long, but you're giving away a lot of money. Gold pieces, the older pre-1933 United States gold coins, they were actually $1, $2.50, $3, $5, $10, $20 gold pieces that were used in the stores. But today, a $20 gold piece, you have a little less than an ounce of gold. So you have a couple $1,000 because you have collector's value on there. So it all depending, what it is. Nickels, not so much. You have a couple years during World War II that they were silver in content. So they bring a value. But you can have a 1938 Jefferson nickel that's 5 cents in circulated condition, or you can have a 1938 Buffalo nickel, which is 50 cents in circulated condition. So you never know.
What is one of those things somebody could find out there that could be floating around out in circulation that would be almost like hitting the lottery? Because there's still some interesting coins floating around. Or what have you seen come in that would be like that?
Nowadays, it's a lot tougher. Back when I was a kid, when I first got started in the business, you could still get decent coins. You could still find silver coins and change. Not so much now. One of the most common things people do find in change are wheat pennies, which are 3 cents a piece. It's no big deal. Every now and then, error coins, something that gets out from the mint, and they're a little tougher now than they used to be, whether it's an off-center strike or double struck. There was, the mule coins where the one side was a Sacagawea dollar, the other side was a quarter. That was, kind of suspect. And actually, one of the most popular things that got out there was Cheerios one time had a special insert that was a special striking, a burnished Sacagawea dollar. They put in their special packaging in their cereal boxes.
Cool.
And they're actually highly sought after right now because of the finish and the uniqueness of the coin. So there's still stuff circulating, but it's nothing like it used to be, because right away everybody sees something that's silver, they pull it aside. So they see something that's different, they pull it aside. So
yeah. Well, one thing I was going to ask you, maybe this would kind of level set the conversation a bit. One of the reasons I was so excited to have you on, Rich, is the current economic environment we're living through. And on the show, I've talked a lot about, fiat currencies versus real money, currency versus money kind of thing, silver and gold versus this paper, fiat currency we have, and what we're seeing right now, politically and in the, just global scale, what's happening, Russia, possibly trading oil off of the US dollar, for example. And, what are your thoughts on some of that high level stuff that you're seeing going on and what you've seen with the value of gold and silver recently and the supply and things of that nature? What would your thoughts be on that?
Yeah, what we're tending to see right now is across the board, people are worried about the dollar and worry about the preservation of their wealth. That's one of the biggest things with gold. You are preserving your wealth in the long run. If you look back at what it used to cost to buy a Cadillac in 1960, for the same amount of gold then, you could buy the same top of the line Cadillac today.
Right. It's like a store of value, right?
Right. Your dollar value didn't go down any.
Right.
So, if you put away, say it was 30 ounces of gold then, 30 ounces of gold now, you could buy the equivalent. So you really don't get the inflation, the deflation of your money. As far as the different countries and what's going on, gold's there. I mean, Russia's one of the biggest buyers of gold. China's one of the biggest. India's one of, all these countries want gold. They don't want dollars as much anymore.
Right.
And that's, the big thing about the petrodollar. If oil starts getting traded with the ruble or something else, they're talking about a gold back currency to trade oil on. I mean, it's just going to send the price, through the roof. One of the biggest problems with the precious metals is we feel in the industry that there should be two different prices. There should be one price for paper trading, which is, your futures, your options and all that, because it's not really backed ounce for ounce with physical product, physical metals. So there should be a paper price and a physical price. If you and I got together and decided tomorrow we wanted to paper short silver to, 500,000 ounces, we could do it. The price dips down 50 cents. We buy it back in and cover the short, and there was no metals that ever traded hands. So if
right.
you actually had to come up and deliver your 500,000 physical ounces, it's going to be tough to do. It's just not out there, especially silver. There's such a shortage right now, which is one of the things that the U.S. Mint's experiencing.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away when I was in your shop recently about the price above spot. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because I've never seen it that high. Maybe historically it has happened. I don't know. Maybe you could touch on that. But I was telling Mike about it a little bit. And again, this is one of the reasons in the past I've mentioned it on the show, just because I see where this is headed on a global scale. But yeah, how much is it above spot right now for the silver?
Right now, Silver Eagles are trading around $14 above spot. And I'll be
Whoa.
honest with you, yeah, we get clients that come in the store and they say, I want to buy Silver Eagles. And unless it's one piece for a gift or something, we do everything to try and talk them out of it.
Sure.
It's you're throwing away $10, $11 an ounce. You're not going to recoup that when you go to sell it. But the United States Mint right now has a problem where the law, when it was written in 1985 to produce the silver coins, the Silver Eagles in 1986, the silver has to be purchased at or below the spot price of silver. Now, up until about a year ago, 1,000-ounce bars of silver COMEX bars were readily available below the spot price. You could buy all you wanted. So they could get it, they could make it. Well, now they can't. Even the 1,000-ounce bars are trading above spot, so they can't buy it to produce the Silver Eagles.
Right.
So you have 12 distributors for the United States Mint in the country, and they're playing games with the price. The bottom line, it's not the Mint playing the game with the price that everybody thinks it is. It's the distributors for the Mint. And I'll probably get a lot of flack for saying that if anybody hears it, but I don't care. It's the truth. If you speak the truth,
yeah,
I don't worry about it.
Absolutely. So. That's what we do on the show, right, Mike?
We try our best.
And the gold is a little bit above spot right now too, not as much as silver, I guess.
But, gold's about where it's been. It's maybe 1% higher on the Eagle side. Every now and then we'll run into some production issues, but it hasn't been bad the past year. We're selling gold Eagles, for the same percentage that we were a year ago. The biggest thing that most of the people have to realize is when gold was $1,100-$1,200 and we were selling them 6% over, $72 over. Well, now at $1,900, you're now talking $114. There's a big difference. You have to understand that the percentage is the same, but because you're playing with more dollars, naturally that dollar premium is going to go up, just like the price of the gold went up.
Right.
So.
And you're having gold, a lot of customers come in and transfer things into gold right now, right?
Yes. Yeah. Gold, we are selling a lot of gold. And I think one of the reasons why it's easier to store, takes up a lot less room than silver. You buy $10,000 of gold and you have 5 ounces that, don't take up very much room. If you look at the video that you had and you count 5 of those coins, that's $10,000. Well, $10,000 in silver, you're talking real quick math, 400 ounces. Well, that's like 4 bricks.
Gotcha.
So, that's a lot heavier. It takes up a lot more room. If you got to grab it and go, it's going to be a lot easier to grab that gold and go. And gold's anywhere in the world. Silver's a little tougher. So.
We've got a request in the comments, Rich. We've got a question from Regina. Regina, thanks for listening. Give Regina, hey now, Philly Chris.
Hey now, Regina. Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Regina asks, can you talk about counterfeit coins? I'm sure that's an issue, right?
Yeah. Big issue.
People try to buy something and it's something of so much value and you realize it's worthless.
As I mentioned, I've done work for Homeland Security. Part of the Professional Numismatist Guild, we have the Anti-Counterfeit Educational Force, which is something we started to protect, again, the general public from counterfeit goods, most of which do come in from China.
Surprise.
So there's a big problem, and I'm talking anywhere from, common, large cents, Indian pennies, to extremely rare $20 gold pieces, to Silver Eagles, gold bars, gold Eagles. All of it is counterfeited. The packaging on some of it is amazing.
Mhm.
The one biggest case which was the big first case that we were involved with, and I was personally the one that did it, was over $50 million in counterfeit goods from a gentleman in New Jersey. So,
Doesn't sound like a gentleman.
yeah, well, you got to be careful where things these days. But
Wasn't
Homeland Security,
his
a
name
client
wasn't
of mine
Kerry, was
actually,
it?
a client of ours actually bought counterfeit coins from the guy.
Oh gosh.
Brought them in
Oh,
and showed them
no.
to me. I told them they were bad. They were supposed to go back and buy more. And through the anti-counterfeit task force, we set up a sting operation. And when the guy did the exchange, they arrested him, got a search warrant,
Wow.
went to his house, and one room in my office was full of boxes of evidence that I
Wow.
had to go through. It took me 2 days, and every single piece was bad.
And those
That
were
is
Silver Eagles?
crazy.
There was silver eagles, silver bars, silver maple leafs, silver kookaburras, silver cougarans, gold eagles, gold bars,
Wow.
$20 gold, in theory, $20 gold pieces.
Hmm.
Rare $1804, 1933 $20 piece. Numerous, anything you could imagine, it was in there. It was counterfeit.
It's crazy.
So sometimes you see guys selling coins at gun shows and things of that nature. So you're just walking by, you see a couple of silver eagles sitting on a table at a gun show. How could somebody know whether or not they're getting one of these counterfeit ones?
I have a saying that's been adapted by the Professional Numismatist Guild and our accredited precious metals branch. If you don't know your precious metals, you better know your precious metals dealer. So you
Right,
better know who you're
gotcha.
dealing with.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that makes sense.
Number one is the weight. A lot of counterfeits, because they're usually copper based, are oversized to make the weight right, or the weight's just not right. So like the gold bars, for instance, in the New Jersey case, were about 2.5 times as thick as a real gold bar.
Wow. So for somebody like you, that would have been very obvious at the outset.
Well,
2.5 times as thick?
yeah, you look at it, and the thing is, it's in the same packaging. The packaging resembles legitimate, whether it was the Rand Mint, Royal Canadian Mint. There are numerous different mints involved, but gold, just like in the cowboy movies, when they take that gold coin and bend it, you see them bite it. That's because it was soft. A gold bar you can bend, but the counterfeit you're not going to bend because the copper's harder. So, and to make it weigh an ounce, it has to be bigger than the gold because of the density of gold.
Sure.
Tungsten's the only thing that's close to gold.
Herman asks, is it legal to own counterfeit coinage?
It is not. Under the Hobby Security Act, it is not legal to own counterfeit coins in the United States. You're not legal to own United States counterfeit coins.
So you can own foreign counterfeit coin?
It's a gray area.
Ah.
So, anything that comes in counterfeits and
Then recommend you don't do it, right? If it's a
Yeah.
gray area. I certainly don't know coin laws inside.
What
and
does
out.
somebody do if they inadvertently had one or inherited one or something like that? What should they do, Rich?
Well, we send a lot of things down to Homeland Security, and they destroy them. I have, for educational purposes, that we set up at different trade shows, samples of the New Jersey case to show the counterfeits, all of which is still property of the government, Homeland Security, that when we're done using it, they will destroy it like they did the balance of the counterfeits.
Okay.
You are supposed to destroy counterfeits. A lot of counterfeits, what we do, depending on how it is, if it's good, what we call a good counterfeit or just a joke counterfeit. The American Numismatic Association is a collectors association, and they have a counterfeit workshop and display things, and we will send them to them for educational purposes if we think it warrants it. If not, it's sent to the Secret Service and it's destroyed.
I was just going to ask you that. It's a Secret Service issue and it's counterfeit U.S. money.
Yeah.
Like if a silver eagle or a gold eagle is counterfeit or
Correct.
$100 bill, it's Secret Service, right?
Right. And it took us a long time to get the Secret Service involved because they looked at a a counterfeit $20 gold piece as $20. They didn't care. They wanted, the $100 bills. The people that were doing stacks of currency, because you told them, oh well, these are counterfeit silver dollars. That's $1. We don't care, but you don't understand. They're representing a coin that's worth $10 million.
Right.
So and it wasn't until some members of Congress ended up with counterfeit gold eagles that they really got interested. So,
wait, no, it's not fair when it happens to us. That's
it's amazing how much this, the wheels move pretty quick then.
You're saying as soon as Nancy tried to get some ice cream with her gold $20.
I would have given her another one.
Right.
I'd like to see that one go away in handcuffs.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
have you ever dealt with anybody who's had to use money for the purposes of films or theater or anything like that?
We had. It's the problem is prop money is supposed to say prop money on it.
Gotcha.
It'll look, they can take a $100 bill and copy it. And if you look hard enough on some of the, I'll call it the dark web, you can find prop money for sale, and it'll look like a real $100 bill, the new ones, but it'll just say for legal, for movie use or prop use. So it is out there. We have had a couple times where different agencies have contacted us to see what the period currency looked like so they could make close to it copies. Boardwalk Empire was one. They used, really close, but if you looked at it, got a real good shot, you could tell it wasn't legitimate currency.
Really?
A lot of it has to do with the paper, right? Isn't the paper one of the hardest things to? Yeah.
Yep, and it's not really paper; it's more a cotton product.
I heard there's like blue jeans in there. They put blue jeans in there. Is that true?
So I can't confirm or deny that.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right.
There was a television show over the last few years. I think it was called Good Girls, where there was.
Great show.
Okay, so you're familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
You saw what they were doing to counterfeit the money and everything like that?
Yeah. Again, today, especially the higher denomination bills, the hundreds and such, there were counterfeits on the market before the real bills were released. So that's a sad thing with, the Treasury and our government.
Wow.
But in those on the television show, the smart thing they did was they were using small denomination bills. Everybody's going to look at 50s and 20s and 100s. Ones and fives, it's going to take a while because nobody's going to look at them.
Right.
I hate to give that key out there, but
it's true though. It makes sense. I was putting money in a parking meter a few years ago before they converted everything in the city to the credit card stuff and all that. But it was the bill kept spitting it back to me, and it was a $5 bill. And then I took a close look at it, and I could tell it was fake.
Donald Trump, it wasn't real. It had Trump instead of Lincoln.
That's what I was gonna say. What about those bills they have in the dining room? Let's say that'll have like Bill Clinton on it or something like that.
There are real dollar bills that are basically they take an etched sticker and they put it in place of Washington or Lincoln. So, it's just something that's a novelty item. It's not real. It looks good, but if you look at it, it's just a sticker that's on there. If it's printed that way, it has to say copy or counterfeit. Again, you get into the Hobby Protection Act and you can get in serious trouble. That's counterfeiting, Secret Service. So
interesting.
Don't want to deal with that. Gary says, do you remember the case where the guy was smuggling coins out of the Philly Mint that were misprinted? He was a maintenance man and a former Philly cop, and he took them out in his coffee cup.
Yes.
This is true?
There's a few stories. Most of I shouldn't say most, a lot of the error coins that came out of the Philadelphia Mint were smuggled out by workers.
That's interesting.
So, and it's the same way the mule dollar, which was the Sacagawea on one side and the quarter on the other side, they had to be struck intentionally in the mint because that die pairing would never be on the machine at the same time unless somebody put it there.
Oh, okay.
So that was a whole, there was lawsuits and the Secret Service was involved with that.
How much are they worth? What's the value on those things? It's been a while since there's really been interest in them because they got a little, tainted.
but they were
Mhm.
going for, hundreds of thousands at the time. So
Wow, hundreds of
yeah,
thousands
yeah.
for like a quarter.
Well,
Oh,
it was really $1.25, depending
okay.
on how you looked at it.
Right. Right. And yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It is now a good time. It looks like there's a question from a
Yeah,
Herman in the
Herman.
comments. A good time to sell off the mint errors? Like, is there a high and low for those types of things?
The largest mint error dealer in the country retired last year. Fred Weinberg is a good friend of mine. A lot of product came out on the market. I don't know if there's enough interest out there to absorb it. Fred was always the go-to guy. He had, if you needed it, you went to him. If the error existed, he could find it for you. So right now there are a lot of high dollar, better errors out there being offered for sale from Fred's personal collection.
Gotcha.
So, minor off-center pennies, we sell them. They're a couple dollars each. Everybody comes in, they think they're, oh, look what I have. They're not a lot. You get a bigger denomination, a $50, the old Eisenhower dollars from the early 70s. That's a different story. They're better. But, you get your pennies, your nickels, your dimes, even your quarters to a degree. They're pretty common in off-center strikes.
Got a comment here from Jeremy. Says the paint on a 2003 Mystic Cobra Mustang is the paint used on money. Ford dealers have to get the paint from the government and return whatever isn't used. Have you heard of this?
That's the first I've heard that one.
Very interesting.
I know the Mystic paint. I know what he's talking about, but I didn't know that was a government. That's the first I've heard that.
I think I saw one of those yesterday. Believe it or not, very much a coincidence. Rita says, "Good idea to have some precious metals. Rich, what would you tell someone who wants to start collecting silver but who doesn't have a ton of money?"
For silver, you don't need a ton of money, and I'll speak for as Delaware Valley Rare Coin. Okay, the person that comes into our doors and wants to buy 1 ounce of silver is treated with respect and no differently than the person who wants to come in and spend $1 million in gold. We understand we have repeat clients that come in once a week. They have $50 this week. They spend $50. They might just come in and say, hey, anything new and exciting? We enjoy that. We love building a relationship with our clients. So there's no wrong way to go about it. If you can afford an ounce a week, that $25 to $30, at the end of the year, you have 52 ounces of silver. It adds up. It's what you'll hear a lot of people refer to as stacking, where you're just buying it and just putting it in a stack and putting it away. So, but there's no wrong way. There's no, you don't need thousands or millions of dollars to get started. So
it's a great way to really dollar cost average too. The same methodology you'd use in the stock market, right? Where your price is, over the time is going to be a lower, buy-in price, because if you're buying it at those lower, you're getting more. So yeah.
What kind of silver would you buy if you're looking for an ounce? What would you be recommending for somebody? Because you said you try to steer them away from the Eagle.
Yeah, right now there's 999 silver, which is the pure form of silver. Comes in the forms of 1 ounce rounds, 1 ounce bars, 5 ounce.
When you say
bars.
Rounds, is that similar to a coin with nothing on it, or?
Right, it's not monetized, so it's not made by a sovereign mint. So a sovereign mint would be the United States Mint, Royal Canadian Mint. So there's no actual legal tender on the coin, but it's stamped with this 1 ounce, 999 fine. That's your cheapest way to get in right now.
Is there a benefit to having something that is made by a mint rather than a round?
Some people like it because if the stuff ever hit the fan and everything went to all hell, they still had $1 if they had a silver eagle. Well, it's not going to matter at that point.
Right.
It's going to be a lot.
Fraction.
It's going to be a lot worse. Right. So, I don't think so. When I buy metals, I try to buy them as close to the spot price of the metal as I can, as long as it's a known, accepted brand.
Gotcha. And I guess that's another reason why it would be important to have a trustworthy dealer, because somebody might think, it seems to me that somebody might think, okay, well, if I'm getting this thing that is currency and it is issued by a mint, that if someone is trying to counterfeit it, number one, it would be more difficult to get that right as opposed to a generic round, as you're saying. And number two, the person would be committing a whole separate crime by forging the currency. but it doesn't seem to stop people if they want to they want to do that anyhow. So it seems the more important thing would be find the trustworthy dealer.
Right. And that's what I say, I'll repeat myself, the tagline, if you don't know your metals, you better know your metals dealer. I
Love it.
say it, I can't tell you how many times a week, and the people are like, well, it makes sense. When we sell the different types of silver, we offer the sovereign product, all the different currencies. We have it here. But everything that we offer is what we call deliverable accepted COMEX product, where it's brands that are all recognized. It's not Joe Smith's mint that, who knows what the purity is. This is all, products that are going through the different assays and have been approved by mostly the London Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade.
Is it typically more cost effective to walk into a store, a brick and mortar, and purchase precious metals as opposed to sending away from them from one of these other companies? Because I've heard that it becomes more expensive when you send away from them in a lot of these places.
Again, I can speak for our company only when
Sure.
it comes to that. We're less than most of the national companies, and I won't name them. But if you type in silver, precious metals or silver, the ones that come up, the ones that advertise on TV, I mean, that's some of the, we unfortunately get the backside of that deal.
Right.
When somebody buys it and now they want to sell it, then they come to us.
Gotcha.
Well, what do you mean it's only worth? They told me this, they told me. I said, well, call them up and try to sell it back. Well, they're not buying right now.
Right now. And by right now, we mean ever.
Right.
Or they'll take it back and they'll tell you, we'll take it back and we'll pay you when we do resell it. Well, we don't work that way. One of the things we tell our clients is when you're looking to buy your precious metals, we're here to sell it to you. However, when you're looking to sell your precious metals, we want to buy it back. So we give buy-sell spreads on everything we sell, everything we buy. That way, hey, you're selling me at, pick an ounce of Gold Eagle at 6% over and you're buying it at 3% over. Okay, that's a $50 spread. I can live with that. The guy that's selling it to you at 15.5% over and is buying it at less 5% under spot. That's not a good deal. That's not the guy you want to deal with. So when it comes to physically buying it, we offer just as good a price and as the JM Bullions, the APMEX, all those guys. I know them. We're competitors, yes, but our prices are just as good. You can walk in and physically have your metal, not worry about it coming through the mail, giving out credit card information, doing any of that.
You don't have to pay for shipping either, right?
Well, a lot of them will pay you. Do a big enough order, they'll pay for your shipping, but you're paying for it. And, it's like we say, you don't get nothing for free. That shipping is factored in there. It's just like, the big firms you see on the television that have some spokesperson, a retired actor. That guy's not doing it for free. They're paying for that television time. They're paying that actor.
Absolutely.
You're going to pay for that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. It is outrageous if you look at some of the things that they put these commercials out there for with these coins, and you see that compared to spot. You're like, wait a second, something's not making sense here.
Or they're not like 0.999 fine too sometimes, right? It's not like a real silver coin too, right?
Yeah. There was a big thing with the gold buffaloes when the United States Mint put out the 1 ounce gold buffalo coins. Well, somebody made copies and TV ads clad in pure 999 gold. Well, clad means there's a thin paper layer, basically a gold leaf layer on the outside of that coin. That's why it's $49.95, and a real one is $2,000. There's a big difference.
Right.
So that's a big issue.
There's a discussion going on over here. Somebody asks, can we talk about the copper pennies that got released in 1942? And then Rusty responds, pennies from 1942 would be wheat pennies. I have a few, and they're only worth about 3 cents or so. It's not a huge increase. What say you, Rich? You're the expert.
Let the expert.
Not Rusty.
Yeah. I think somebody was probably meant the 1943 copper penny.
Okay.
1943, during the war, they went to a composition of lead for the coins, for the pennies, because they were using the copier for ammunition. There were no actual, quote, intended to strike copper 1943 pennies. However, the way the machines and the presses are set up, there were blank planchets that were stuck in the machine somewhere. and shook loose and got minted and put out into circulation and are out there. How many are out there? Exact numbers not known. I think right now there's about 12 on count, depending on the condition, $100,000, $150,000 a coin.
Wow.
So big difference between 42 and 43.
Right. Well, in 1942, you know, the same way 1944, there's a couple steel pennies that are out there from the same system that you just don't see as much. So it's because it was made, you know, from a different alloy that it wasn't intended to be on. I mean, I did a deal back about 15 years ago where I bought a collection from a family, and their grandfather was a retired metallurgist from the Philadelphia Mint. And his job was to come up with a new composition for the 1943 pennies. So after I bought the collection, we're sitting there talking, and they showed me an envelope of coins. And I was just fascinated. I was in awe, and they thought it was a bunch of burned pennies they were going to throw out.
Oh, God.
And the grandfather's handwritten notes were on the envelopes, and they were antimony. It was a test strike that he did to replace the other coins. And it was the finest known, the only one known at the time, and that was over $100,000.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, there's
Garbage.
interesting stories like that. And in this area, we're really fortunate because with, you know, the first mint being in Philadelphia and still having a mint in Philadelphia, we some really, really cool coins come out of this area.
That's amazing. I want to go back to the counterfeiting conversation because it just occurred to me. It would seem it's totally ripe for scams, for folks to set up shop and say, hey, come bring us your coins. We'll take a look at them. Maybe even throw it out there that will let you know if it is counterfeit. And then find something that's valuable and say, you know what? I'm looking at this, and unfortunately you've been misled, and this is absolutely counterfeit. And then paying nothing for something that's valuable, or paying a small price for something that's valuable, because somebody doesn't know what they have. It would seem that they could be taken advantage of very easily. No?
Absolutely. And again, that's why I make the statement about the professional and the numismatist guild and knowing your dealer. One of the biggest things, if somebody tells you your coin's counterfeit, they cannot by law just take it from you. So they're not authorized to do, they're not Secret Service. They cannot just take it. So if I tell you this coin's not worth anything, but I'll give you $50, or this coin's not worth anything,
Red flag.
but I'm going to keep it. You grab your coin and you get out there as quick as you can, because that's not a legit situation.
Wow.
So, and I've had times where I've gone through and bought collections, and there's counterfeit coins, and I give them back to the people, and they say, well, that's really rare. I said, if it was genuine, yes, it's rare. It's not genuine, so it's not rare. And I'm giving it back to you. I don't want it. If I said to you, well, this is no good, but I'm going to keep it, or this is no good, but I'm going to give you some money for it. Well, that to me is a red flag. So that's something, if we come across counterfeit coins, I give it back to the person, and then I instruct them what they should do with it. And if they want help doing it, we do it for them.
It sounds like Russ says this has been on television before, on some program. It was the opposite. Russ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, there was an episode, almost that exact scenario that you described, Mike. There was an episode of King of the Hill where you swap coin with a Native American artifact, and it was dug up in the Hill's yard, and Hank brought it to a professor at the local university. The professor said, it's worth nothing. Here, you want me to throw it out for you? And he's like, oh, okay. And he kind of walked away. And as soon as Hank leaves the room, he digs it out of the trash, and he starts going to work on getting permits and basically digging up Hank's yard to find more stuff of this thing that was supposedly worthless.
Well, that sounds similar to the scenario that I mentioned. Interesting.
Yeah.
So is that a way to get around the rule, Rich? If you say, And you don't offer to give them anything, but hey, I'll throw it in the garbage for you.
That I think you might be better versed on than I.
Oh,
I don't have that law degree.
It's the gun law firm, not the coin law firm.
Wait, I thought lawyers could do everything, Mike.
I thought you knew all the laws. You call yourself a lawyer?
My next
Right.
book, Pennsylvania Coin Law, Armed and Educated. Just keep everything the same, just replace coin in every part of the book.
Authored by Rich Weaver and co-authored by Mike Jeremita.
Let's talk about the Coin Control Act of 1968.
That's funny.
That would be a new one.
Is the ring test legitimate, Rich, with the Silver Eagles? Like listening to them if you strike two together on the tip of your finger?
It's a very good way. It's not 100%, fail proof.
Okay.
Silver will give you that nice clear chime.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things we use that for is the old Engelhard 100-ounce silver bars. They were struck bars, and there was a lot of filled bars that went around where somebody drilled, filled with lead, and then basically coated at the end and recut them. Because if you've ever seen an Engelhard bar, it kind of looks like a saw cut the end of it. And the easiest way to tell those bars is literally to bounce it on your finger and chime it. If you get a clear, crystal clear chime, it's a good bar.
Okay.
If it gets a thump, it's probably a plug bar. It does work. Silver dollars the same way. The pre-1935 silver dollars. You chime them. There's a ton of counterfeits. Silver dollars. That's one of the biggest things coming out of China. You go to these flea markets and you see these guys with just, buckets full of
I've done it at the flea markets, and they definitely have a different sound. But I was wondering, I've seen online things about it, but I figured if that's legitimate.
It's definitely, nice silver will give you that nice, distinctive, clear ring versus a thumping, a thud kind of noise.
Yeah, it's more like an actual higher tone pitch ring. Yeah.
Right.
Some resonance. Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, some of the silver coin, magnets are always one of the great things to have with you. There's steel and stuff. We'll go right to a magnet.
Good point.
Just like jewelry, a lot of jewelry, 14 karat, 18 karat jewelry that's just plated junk. You put a magnet and it jumps right up to your magnet. It's not gold.
Gotcha.
Have you ever caught somebody like that and confronted them?
Yeah, we've had a couple come in. Yeah.
Really?
So it's interesting. You get the one that, this is my, my great grandfather from the Mayflower. But it's
from the
dated,
Mayflower.
no. So, and then you get the other ones that can't grab it and get out the doors quick enough. So they usually don't give you, too much time to really get in their face or get on them. And there's not a lot we can do about that.
Right.
Like I said,
Is it on the rise?
Anybody that you believed was legitimately mistaken about what they had?
Absolutely. The person in New Jersey who was selling the counterfeit gold bars.
Much better.
Who was still in jail. So we'll put it that way.
Good.
Sold gold bars to various people. And one of the hardest things we had with Homeland Security was they were calling up these victims and saying, hey, you bought 10 gold bars from so-and-so. They're not real. If you would like to get on part of, to reclaim your losses, we need you to send the bars. Oh, how do I know you're not scamming me? And one guy was a retired Navy, and he said, I'm embarrassed. I'm too embarrassed to do it. I don't want my name associated. The victims are usually just embarrassed from it.
Sure.
So it's very unfortunate. Again, with the anti-counterfeit task force, we're out there to help you. The consumer, we're here for your protection. The Professional Numismatist Guild, we're here for your protection. Our accredited precious metals dealers, we're here for the general public, the consumer's protection. We want to make sure that you're getting the right product. That's why it's so important to know your dealer.
Right. And they must be on the rise. It seems like all scams are on the rise. Are you seeing a occurrence of precious metal scams and things?
Well, it's kind of funny because it slowed down when
Oh.
things were kind of slowed down because nobody could get out and around. So all the flea market guys couldn't set up their little counterfeiting,
Yeah.
But lately, there's some other scams. There's bait and switch. People come in, they buy a gold bar, and then they go out to their car, and then they come back and say, "Here, I decided, my wife hollered, I need to return this." Well, it's a different serial number because they bought one of the counterfeit bars off of Alibaba, and they want to, return it to you.
Oh,
So,
gosh. Oh, boy.
so there's scams like that. We record all the gold bar serial numbers that we sell.
That's good.
So,
Alibaba's it's like an online auction.
Alibaba is like the Chinese Facebook or a Chinese Amazon.
Yeah, right.
Me.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They're on the New York Stock Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should be shut down and thrown off of that. They are a company that you can go on their website and anything you want to buy counterfeit, they have it. They sell gold eagles for $1.25.
No.
They sell silver eagles for 59 cents. So
how close are they? Like how real do they look?
They're not good.
Oh, they're not good. Okay.
To me, they're not good. I can look at them. I have people take them out of their pockets and I tell them to put it back in. They're not real. Some of them, but they are getting better. Is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
They know what to do. They tweak things, but the weight is the biggest thing. We have a specific gravity test we can do. We have an X-ray test we can do. We have an electrolysis test we can do here in our office, but that's us. That's not the consumer. So when you see somebody selling that 1 ounce of gold for hundreds, if not $1,000 under the market value,
right,
it's not legit.
Yeah,
it
doesn't make
sense.
Sense.
I mean, at what point is it kind of on the consumer? And it's like,
but Mike, it's the greed. Everybody wants that deal. They think they're getting. I got this guy. This guy started out in New Jersey, and his thing was, I need to repair my car real quick. The gold shop's not open. It's a Sunday. I'll sell 2 gold bars for $2,000 when it was worth $3,000.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. So somebody, hooks up, and then they make it even worse with this guy. He was impersonating an ATF agent.
Oh,
shows up with a fake badge around his neck, and it just you can't make this stuff up.
That's just dumb.
Yeah. So, and that only got him, I think it was 2.5 years. But the counterfeit, because of the work we did and how thorough, and we had a judge that was really interested and wanted to get him off the street. He got another 12.5 years for the counterfeiting because of the amount of money that was involved.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, yeah.
Wow. Where do you see this going, Rich? Like with the way the world is right now and the economy and, what Russia and China is doing, where do you see this headed with the gold and the silver prices? And what would your recommendation be to people, having been doing this for so long, to protect themselves? Where do you see this headed? What do you think is going to happen, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a tough call. Again, it goes back to whether or not we can get a physical market versus a paper market. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we could get physical to trade on physical price, it would go higher overnight.
Mm-hmm.
If they do away with the dollar for oil,
mm-hmm.
The petrodollar, that could change things overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I got guys that are farmers in Chester County that, tell us, hold on. He says, well, you haven't seen anything yet with, food cost and inflation. Come the fall, we're not planting crops. We can't afford to plant because of the cost of the fertilizer, the cost of the fuel to run the equipment. We're not planting this year. So, you're going to see things, and you're preserving that wealth, and it just goes with the inflation. If you look at the dollar, we get dips, but I like dips. I buy on dips.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a stock, like Apple stock, and it's at 250, and you say, well, it drops down to 210. Well, that's a buying opportunity. It's on sale.
Absolutely.
I look at it that way with gold. What we've seen in the past couple of days, to me, gold's on sale right now. It was almost 2,000 again at the beginning of the week. Now we're back down around that 1950, 1940 range. I'm in. It's a buy. It's a buy signal.
Do you follow Mike Maloney at all? Do you know that name, Mike Maloney, online?
No.
Okay. Because there's some folks out there I've been following for a while, and they're predicting that it potentially could go over 10,000 if the dollar does implode and we get, Russia and China trading off of the U.S. dollar. That could be the end of our fiat currency as we know it, and maybe we'll go to this digital currency that they're talking about, where they have our social credit scores and all that crazy stuff ready to go. If that's true, what do you see happening if that stuff became a reality? Where do you think gold would go?
You can't put a dollar for it. Nobody knows.
Yeah, of course
It's
we
all
don't know for sure, but yeah,
you're just throwing darts. Higher would be my answer.
Higher.
Right. And I know you
I'm
can't give an
sorry,
actual
I don't,
number. Yeah.
I would hate for somebody to say, you said $5.
Yeah. And
$5.
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, so I didn't expect you to. Yeah.
I understand it's a valid question, but
Yeah.
Again, it's that the buying strength of that ounce of gold today versus 5 years from now, that's what you're looking at. It should get you the same, if not more.
Right. And that's one of the reasons I asked you that question is your Cadillac. I think you said a Cadillac earlier, right? Like buying a Cadillac, or you said the car, because it's really the store of value. And I think that's one of the points I've really been truly trying to get across on the show is if things implode, the dollar literally could evaporate in a very short period of time. Hyperinflation will set in. Germany just had 20% price hikes on foods. You're telling me stories. I'm hearing stories from other people in the know that food's about to go through the roof. People are saying buy food now. We saw what happened during the pandemic. Imagine if food really was scarce as opposed to just it being so. Anyway, just throwing that out there for our audience who's been
even your
along.
Gas. I mean, look at gas in the past week again. Nobody's talked about it. All of a sudden, gas just jumped up 30 cents again.
Right.
So, it's not good.
Interesting times for sure. Yeah.
Why is nobody talking about that?
Probably because they're so distracted, right, by everything else.
Yeah, it's all worried about the new COVID variant.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And what in your office earlier, we were talking about, there was a reference to, I think, Ezekiel, the history repeating itself or something, right? I forget what that reference was.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're just kind of history's repeating itself, I think.
It's a big cycle. Everything just keeps going around.
What are your hours at the physical locations?
We're here at Broomall from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Saturdays by appointment. Saturdays are a little tougher because like I said, I do travel a lot. And usually that's when I'm away, is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But somebody Monday through Friday is always here in the office. It's myself, my wife, my son, our employees. So, we're all here. Best if you have something big you want to do or you want to sit down and discuss, you don't have to, but we do, make a phone call, set up an appointment. So these are crazy times. We are extremely busy. We want to be able to give you the time, to the person. I don't want to just, say, well, yeah, okay. And then have to damn this question over here and back over here, so we'd like to give you the time that you deserve, the face to face. So.
Very cool. It's definitely a trip worth making. I did have another question. We were talking about people coming into you, bringing fakes that you recognized in different scenarios where maybe somebody was trying to get one over on you, or maybe somebody legitimately didn't know. Have you ever run into sellers? If you're just out and about, you're saying they're all over the flea markets. Have you ever run into somebody where do you ever just walk around and like scour tables and see what's going on and people have no idea who you are and then they realize they've been found out?
I can't tell you the last time I've been to a flea market.
We got to do an undercover.
Undercover? That'd be kind of interesting.
Undercover.
Let's do it. That'd be fun.
So the biggest problem with flea markets is they're on the weekends in the summer, and when I'm home, that's golf time. So
Gotcha.
that's my voice. That's where I get my release. I get out there and chase around little white and yellow balls instead. So, but no, it would be an interesting thing to do.
That would be fun.
We'll get you a wig and maybe some sunglasses and a hat.
And a big fat cigar.
We'll mic you up and we'll that'd be fun to do. That would be. Confront the scammers. We like confronting the scammers on the show. We actually had a gentleman on from Africa who was a scammer that tried to scam me, and I got him to come on the show. Believe it or not, he was trying to turn a new leaf. So that was a while ago.
What
but,
is with all these scammers being perfect gentlemen in your eyes, huh?
did I say gentlemen again? I
You
don't
did.
know.
You certainly did.
That wasn't one of the gold miners from South Africa, was it?
No, that would be interesting though.
We're going to give you $50 million in gold. I just need 200,000 to get it into the country.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's legitimate.
Yeah, those are always good to take advantage of. Yeah, those letters you get, they're crazy. Yeah,
yeah, and they're always written in like the strangest English too, right?
Right,
like,
right.
I would like to present you with this awful rare opportunity.
I am the prince of nowhere land. And
Oh yeah, they got a
come
lot
upon-
of princes and princesses over there.
I know,
That's
it's
right,
crazy.
That's right. I've melted down my crown just for you.
I'm related to all of them, by the way.
Yeah.
That's right. But it is sad. You see these scams. I know some people in the IT space, and they're seeing a exponential growth with the malware and the ransomware, and all that stuff. So you have to be so careful with that too. And quite
In
the
case
time.
anybody's wondering, the IRS will not call you and demand that you pay them in Walmart gift cards. Okay?
Oh wait, I did that yesterday. Are you sure, Mike?
I'm positive.
Are you sure? But actually, I've noticed too, more people are using gold. It's more silver, maybe just to trade services too. Have you found that to be true, Rich? People doing that lately?
We've had some people coming in for that reason that they're bartering.
Yeah, bartering.
Which,
right. Yeah.
There was a while ago there was a case where somebody did a land transfer with gold eagles
Really?
and valued it at the $50 face value on a gold eagle. And they ended up having to pay up on it, but hey, they tried. So
that's interesting.
You still got to do it as the value of the precious metal. You can't go under the face value.
Right.
So guy was trying to get away from the capital gains and
Sure.
taking 1,000 gold eagles at $50 a pop was a lot cheaper than I think at the time was $1,100 or $1,200. So
Right. Yeah.
But
that's amazing. Well, those 600 gold eagles you had in the store when I was in, they went up value even just between the time they were ordered, right? When somebody orders things, sometimes they'll even go up.
Yeah, we have a position that we keep in storage at the depository.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we have clients that come in on a large transaction, we just get a Brinks delivery from our account.
Okay.
So your timing that day was actually good because we just happened to have a delivery here.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that was
we
cool.
got to show it. It worked out good. And like I told you, if you would have been here a week sooner, it would have been gold bars. So
Right. I'll have to stop in again soon to see.
So yeah, we do it that way. So it works. It's pretty good that way.
Is it still exciting for you? Like, I'm sorry, Mike, I cut you off. Is it still exciting
We're going
for
to
you?
send Chris out there with a tent so you could find out.
Well, maybe we could film some. Well, people in your parking lot would know, but I totally would love to try that Mark Dice thing in Philly somewhere.
Yeah, the clientele are mostly, they want to remain anonymous. I mean, that's like true. The cash reporting. Our company, unlike some other companies in the area, we're 100% AML compliant. Okay. I spent one of the longest weekends of my life going through that class to make sure we're compliant. So anybody that, wants to launder a bunch of cash, we're not the place to come to unless you're going to fill out paperwork. Sorry.
Gotcha.
So we worry about that, but everybody basically wants to be anonymous when they do it. And it's tough because if you read the laws, it states if you spend over $10,000 cash, you have to fill out, a cash reporting act, that you spent the money, the cash. But a lot of the AML compliance companies want to name an address at $3,000. And we've argued over the years and, touch wood, so far we've been good that that's not the way the law is written. So, but if you come in, you want to spend $10,020, you're going to fill out paperwork. If you're going to spend $9,990, you're not going to fill it out again, as long as you're not structuring your transaction, which is a whole nother ball game.
Right.
And, all these things.
Stacking it
structuring
over
is
days,
if you come in. Yeah, if you come in, you say, I want to spend $20,000 cash on gold. I say, we got to fill out the paperwork. Well, I'm going to come in and spend $9,900 today and $9,900 tomorrow. And that's structuring. That's actually worse than not filling out the cash reporting. So, or if you get a husband and wife that come in and they want to do it between the two of them, it's acceptable providing they each have their own money. If the husband hands money to the wife, that's a structured transaction. It's a whole different ballgame. So, like I said, there's a lot of involved. We follow the laws. And
what if somebody brings Russ the producer with them and they're not married to that individual?
So, and yet it's funny because if you came in and you said to me, hey, I need $25,000 real quick. I need to sell some gold or silver. I can give you $25,000 cash. There's nothing illegal about that. There's no reporting about that. So it's up to you, the individual receiving, what you do. If you go to the bank and put it in the bank, you're going to have to fill out paperwork to put it in the bank.
Right.
But that's one way where when we're giving it out, there's nothing required. But when we're taking it in, it is required. So.
Very cool.
Which would be $7,500 in capital gains if it was 30% on $25,000. So that's a fair amount of money, That's a high tax rate, but
yeah,
even 20%, yeah, it's a lot of money.
But of course, you probably bought it at a higher
that's
price.
right.
You'll
Basis,
take the
don't
loss.
you?
Right. Yeah, the cost basis, of course.
Yeah, you got,
yeah.
Depends on what you bought it for.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Riveting tax law discussion, right?
Right.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it was an exciting weekend.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Well,
hey,
Rich,
you got to do what you got to do.
I did want to ask one more question. Where did you grow up?
Local Delaware County, Drexel Hill.
Okay, beautiful. So born and raised.
Born and raised. Drexel Hill. My father had a couple 5 and 10s. He actually worked for General Electric, aerospace up in King of Prussia. He designed satellites, and he formed the Valley Forge Coin Club back in the early '60s. Started at General Electric Aerospace, and he was the president and founder of that. And that's I grew up around the business, and GE, the way they did things was they would lose contracts or contracts would end and they get laid off. So Dad always looked for something to do on the side. And we had the 5 and 10s. And when King of Prussia Mall was first built, the inside part, he had the old coin and hobby shop on the second floor in King of Prussia Mall. So I can remember running around that joint when they were building it.
Wow.
So, but yeah. So
the real deal.
Yeah.
So you love Pennsylvania. No reason.
Oh yeah.
I love it too.
It's great, and you asked me about getting into it. And there's so much history with coins. Every coin has history. We do the bullion business because we can, and I believe in it. But my true love and passion is the numismatic part of it, the collectible coin part of it. There's just so much history. We bought back in 2000, 1792 half Disney, which was the first coin ever struck by the United States, and the silver was donated by the Washingtons. Wow. And we actually bought and sold Martha Washington's coin. And everybody says, well, how do you know we had a handwritten note from Martha Washington that she gave it to her housekeeper when she had a baby. So we had the coin and the note. Wow. So it's just history, it sends goosebumps still that, we know Martha touched the coin. So there's a good chance if you're ever going to the Mint in Philadelphia, there's a big painting of the first coin striking ceremony, which I don't know if you can see. I got a print right over my shoulder there.
Yes, very cool.
Okay.
And I have the only known intact print of it, other than the original painting in the Mint, and that's the striking ceremony with David Rittenhouse, who was the first director of the United States Mint, George and Martha, Alexander Hamilton. They're all there, so it's kind of cool, the history of it.
Wow. Well, Rich, it's been a fascinating conversation. Unless Chris has got something else to add, I want to be respectful of your time. I know that you've got a lot going on.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thanks so much. It's been such a pleasure, Rich, meeting you at the store and talking to you over the past several months and getting to know you a little bit. And thanks for sharing your knowledge and understanding of the markets with our audience, because it's something we've been talking about for a while, but it's nice to have an actual expert on the show. So, thank you for that. And, anybody who wants to pick up anything, and my recommendations, even though they're not quote unquote recommendations, but go see Rich. He's got a really nice selection over there and a great family, and he'll take good care of you, and you can trust him. So thank you, Rich, for that. Yeah.
We should definitely do the episode of Undercover Counter.
Undercover.
Right?
That would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
It would be fun. Yeah. So
Maybe we can make it up for you with an extra day at the golf course, or a really nice golf course.
Okay, there you go.
We should see how many people at the golf course know the worth of the coin. Oh, they'll probably know. There's some smart people over there.
I get grabbed quite a few times. Hey, come here, Rich. Come here and look at this one.
Right.
So, no, I appreciate you guys having me on, and hopefully we'll do it again in the future sometime. Feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Thank you so much.
Go check him out. Go see him in Broomwall or Westchester, right? In Broomwall or Westchester.
Yeah. I basically camp in Broomwall all the time if I'm home. So just when I go away.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was fun. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. And we'll be in touch.
All right, guys.
Well, before you go, tell everybody what they won, Rich. What we're going to pull somebody.
I thought it was the plunger. I thought we had the plunger.
I just can't believe you're giving up all your gold. You said you were going to get that $1.2 million.
Wait a minute, that wasn't the prize. Hold on a second. It was the other thing.
The other one.
The other thing.
We have a 1 ounce pure silver ingot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the prize for whoever is picked out today.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it's pretty cool. If I should have brought one in to show on the camera. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I meant to show it myself, but I was running a little late, so I didn't grab it. But we'll show it next week on.
Maybe
next
Russ can
show.
get a picture up there after Rich leaves. Maybe Russ can.
Yeah, we can find something. Yeah, or I could grab it. I actually have it here, so I could go grab it and show everybody in a few minutes. Yeah.
Yep.
But
show them what they won.
Yeah.
One lucky listener.
One lucky listener. And what's the current value on that if somebody were to come in the store and buy that right now?
Right now we're
the one I got
$29.
Yeah, okay. So $30 silver. Ounce of silver. Cool.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks again, Rich. You have a great evening.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Rich. Have a good night.
Take care. Those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. Well, that was very interesting. Very bright guy, obviously, and an important topic, right, Philly Chris?
Yeah. I'm so thankful that he was willing to come on, and it's something that I'm passionate about, and I just wanted to share it with the listeners. And I think it's important right now to have good understanding of what's going on with the currencies in the world. So hey, everybody do what they feel is best for themselves, but still think it's an important time to consider diversification into the precious metals. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand that it's time for the 2-week-old news.
Oh, is it time?
That it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, brought back by popular demand, the 2-week-old news.
Oh, hold on. I want to talk about what a knucklehead Russ is first, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be nice.
That's okay. We already know.
So Russ calls us out and gives all these complaints about the 2-week-old news, about how it's going to take up too much time, and is this going to be the new show? Is the entire show going to be 2-week-old news? And then after I rip him apart on the air,
right?
And he comes back during the week and sends us messages saying, "Hey guys, I'm sorry I ripped the 2-week-old news, and I've actually got another really, really good idea. How about we do 3-week-old news, and maybe 3.5-week-old news.
You nailed my voice there.
How about 4-week-old news? Or month-and-a-half-old news. How about 4 and 7 years ago news? Reminded me of what was that movie? Was it There's Something About Mary, where he picks up that crazy hitchhiker and he's like, "You ever hear of 8-minute abs? I'm going to make 7-minute abs."
Oh, no.
Oh, that's great.
But anyway, let's hear the 2-week-old news, John.
Okay, we'll start with this one. Will Smith is banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
Oh, my goodness.
How did that happen?
That's outrageous. I know you said something about he slapped Chris Rock last week, right?
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. So now he's banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well,
Poor
that's
guy.
something else. Didn't see that coming.
No.
And apparently he accepts and respects the decision.
Oh,
well, that's
okay.
good. After
Sounds
you hit
like
somebody
he-
in the face.
sounds like he learned his
Like
lesson.
he had a choice.
What else we got, John?
Okay, we got also jury selection begins in the Parkland school shooting sentencing trial.
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Now they're trying to decide whether he's either going to get the death penalty or life in prison without parole.
Did you hear about that before just now, Philly Chris? I think the segment should maybe be called 2-week-old news or just news.
Yeah.
Because some of these things, like, oh, yeah, that's funny. That was 2 weeks ago. Ha ha. Yeah, I remember that. And then some of them, it's like, well, maybe that did happen 2 weeks ago, but I actually didn't hear about it.
Yeah, I didn't really hear about it either. Yeah, although I didn't kind of intentionally avoided the news this past week or two. But so it's news. Thanks for the news.
The jury will decide the Parkland gunman. I remember watching a hearing with the defendant speaking to the judge. Maybe it was the guilty plea hearing. Was that it? Did you remember watching? Did you see a hearing on YouTube, Philly Chris?
I did not.
What was his name again, that kid? Oh, we don't want to say it, right? Is that better to do or just not say it?
Are we avoiding it?
Is it better just not say the guy's name so you don't give him attention?
Maybe. Yeah, I think you're right on that, Prime Mike. Yeah. The bad guy, we'll just say the bad guy.
Yeah.
The bad guy.
Bad
Chris the criminal.
Yeah. We should find out what he likes least, right? We should find out what he can't stand and then just call him that.
Exactly. Whatever he prefers the least.
Yeah.
We'll just use that.
There is a special about him, something along the lines of what acting crazy looks like. And the idea was that he pretended to be crazy after the fact because he thought there would be a more lenient sentence or something like that. And they showed that when, they were the officers in the room with him, he would act one way and act like, he was staring off into space and couldn't talk to them. And then as soon as they left the room, he'd just start acting, I don't want to say normal, but not like that. He would act completely differently.
Gotcha.
Once he realized there was a camera in the room watching him the whole time. A little strange. But Liberty, you actually had an interesting point about that. We were talking about this recently, weren't we? Did we lose Liberty?
I think she left.
I think
she leave?
I'm gonna try and retrieve her again. Hang on.
All right, yeah, bring Liberty back, man. Everybody misses Liberty already.
So basically, what happened? I don't want to speak for her. She's coming on. If she doesn't, if we don't get her on, then I will speak for her because it's a very interesting point and worth bringing up. Doesn't sound like it. Why don't you just kill that, Russ? So basically, there's this special, and they had a number of different people. It would show people who were supposedly acting like they're crazy because they're acting one way, and then when they don't realize they're being watched, they act a completely different way. And it's sort of like a nonsense sort of an act if you see what they're doing. And then there's one guy who, according to the documentary, this is what crazy actually looks like. She's very matter of fact about everything the whole time, and told exactly the way it happened. And it's so wild that like the reaction is like, oh, like this guy is really out of his mind. I guess I asked he was basically saying something along the lines of, I think it was Oklahoma. I asked a guy who lived in my dorm for a ride because he was going to Walmart, and I told him I wanted to go to Walmart. So I started driving to Walmart, and we were down a dirt road, and there was nobody around and no sign of civilization. So I pulled out a gun, I put it to his head, and I told him to pull over. At that point, when he pulled over, I asked him to slowly exit the vehicle, which he did while I held my gun to his head, and then had him get on his knees. And he asked me to please not kill him, and I shot him in the back of the head. After I shot him in the back of the head, I proceeded to walk up the road and try to seek somebody to pick me up so I could get to this next destination. It was just like matter of fact, like one after the other after the other.
Right. And totally detached from emotion.
Yeah, you're totally detached from any sort of emotion whatsoever. You're like, wow, these guys are really. You can kind of tell there is definitely a difference between someone who's behaving like that,
Right.
somebody who, they're acting one way, and then an officer comes in and they like sort of open their eyes and act like they don't know where they are, and they say random weird words and everything like that,
Right.
and they talk funny. But Liberty at the point of, I was like, no, that dude's crazy, and these guys are faking it. And Liberty was like, but the guys who are faking it are crazy too, aren't they?
I was just gonna
Like
say
anybody
something.
who would kill their mom and then act like that in front of a cop to try to get away with it is also crazy in a different way.
It's a different crazy.
That's kind of a good point, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it just shows there's all kinds of levels of crazy.
But then you get to the point of, is there any, like, are all murderers just crazy? Are they all mentally ill to some degree? Is every murder mental ill? If that's true, then can you not give the death penalty? Can you not punish them with that because they're all mentally ill? It's a very interesting question.
Yeah, it's sort of an ethical dilemma, maybe.
You gotta believe that evil is just evil sometimes,
Right. There's real evil out there, that's for sure.
Maybe they're not all right. Maybe they're not 100% upstairs, but so are a lot of them. Who is, right?
Right. Yeah.
Who doesn't have something going on? And at what point do you use that as the reason, the underlying excuse for what took place? I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway, but a long discussion from the 2-week-old news, which was actually news to me. I did see some hearing. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was the guilty plea. And he said something along the lines of he thought the families should decide what happens to him, whether he lives or dies. And he was cool with it no matter what they said.
Okay.
I think I remember that's what he said.
That's interesting, yeah.
Anyway, John, you got any more 2-week-old news?
Oh yeah, I do. Texas will send busloads of undocumented immigrants to the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
I love it. Okay, that one.
And he said he's going to send like 900 buses up there.
900 buses. Texas.
Illegal, undocumented immigrants.
Why? You can't say illegal?
Well, they put undocumented. It's undocumented.
So he's reading the actual news. You're actually reading the news, yeah.
Undocumented, quote unquote. And it's going to be 900 buses. Just imagine 900 buses going to the Capitol doorsteps with all these illegal immigrants.
It's a lot of buses. 900. How many people are on a bus?
I would think at least like 2, 4, 6. Probably at least like 30 or 40 people minimum.
Yeah.
Do we know what kind of buses they are? Like, are they luxury Greyhounds or something?
They said charter buses.
So it must be nice.
Well, the idea is that
buses.
The governor of Texas said, okay, well, if the federal government is not going to do anything to stop this, then we can send them to D.C. where the federal government is and see if that changes. It's kind of along the I think the sentiment is along the lines of what Rich was saying about how Congress wouldn't do anything about it until somebody in Congress got scammed, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're like, this is a travesty. We got to protect these poor people.
Right.
And then 3 GOP states sue Biden administration over ending pandemic border policy. The states of Missouri, Arizona, and Louisiana filed lawsuits against the Biden administration. They're over their decision to end the Title 42 policy.
No more potatoes on airplanes. Is that another thing?
Yeah, right. Although they're trying to fight against that, I believe, right?
Yeah.
One guy sent out a tweet. It was a picture of himself, and it was something like, I don't care what some stupid Trump-appointed judge says. I'm wearing my potato and goggles on an airplane, and anybody who says that it's no good is, doesn't know what they're talking about or whatever.
Right.
And this is a real self-serving sort of post. And Shapiro writes under it, "You, sir, are a hero." Still wears potato on the plane.
That's great. People like to be comforted.
Yeah, goodness.
Nice when Big Daddy government keeps you safe and comfortable. It's always very nice.
And there is a spike in the turnip, though, right?
That's what they're saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're saying. Isn't there a new turnip too, or something? There's like a new one, right?
Is there?
Something like that.
I think it might be a genetically modified turnip.
A genetically modified turnip.
Yep.
Could be, Russell.
Frankenstein turnip.
Yeah, you never know. Never know what's going to happen next.
What else is 2-week-old news, John?
Not my president. Biden is calling for Russian President Vladimir Putin to be put on trial for war crimes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sure that'll work.
I'm sure he'll cooperate with no
I'm sure he will.
problems.
Oh yeah, he's totally gonna surrender. Be like, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee, you guys
Who
are gonna
gets the
call
job
me out
of
for
Putin's
breaking the
lawyer?
rules. Oh man.
Who gets the job of Putin's lawyer?
I think
There you go.
Talk about a lot on the line, right?
I have a picture of that meeting. If I can share my screen, let me see.
Yeah.
Can you guys see it? Let's see here.
Wait.
I think it's That's pretty good.
Is it coming through? Do I know what I'm doing with the
Yeah.
technology?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Stop
There we
sharing.
go.
We got to think of a nickname
Did
for
you see the
Biden.
one where the Easter Bunny's out there with him, and he starts
Yeah.
talking about Afghanistan, and
Oh.
the Easter Bunny like basically tackles him and drags him
Yeah,
away.
he's
and he's
like
like, "All right,
waving,
that's
like-
enough, President."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite the scene out there these days, isn't it? Here we
Easter
are.
Bunny grabs him by the arm and he's like, no, go that way. Go that
Yeah,
way.
no, we're not going
Right.
to talk about that. You're not going to talk on your own. You can't talk without those cue cards.
We can't trust you to say anything without a teleprompter.
I wonder who's in the Easter Bunny costume. I'd like to know that. Maybe it's Saki.
Oh, they actually no. I think it might have even been his wife.
Oh, really?
The White House was public about it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear about
Are
it.
you
Who was
telling me
White
she's the
House?
Easter Bunny?
And she's also Santa Claus.
Oh, wow.
no.
She does
Yeah.
such a good job.
Got some good
I'm pretty
news
sure
for
they
the
tweeted
college
it out.
students.
They showed Biden
Mm-hmm.
with her getting dressed in the costume or something. Pretty sure there was a tweet.
Gary's making an interesting point in the comments, because the people going crazy that the potato is now no longer required on like public transport and everything, but it's still required in like Philadelphia, I believe in indoor settings, if I'm not mistaken. He says he thinks there's going to be rioters in Philadelphia because they need the masks to conceal the identity. So if the CDC tries to bring back potato mandates, and
Interesting point. We'll see what
It'll,
happens. We'll have to remember what's today, April 21st. We'll see.
yeah, make a
See
note
what
of
happens
it.
with
Mark
that.
it on your
Never
calendar.
know.
Give it a clap.
Gary-
That'll be
Gary's
a
been right about
audio
some
so
things in
every
the
time
past, so.
they introduce the potato requirement,
Hmm.
there's something on the horizon, and there's a reason it got put into effect.
Could be.
I'll tell you what,
Yes.
it's not the turnip that's doing that, because I sat in court with people shoulder to shoulder during the January turnip variant. That was pretty bad from what I mean.
Mhm.
I'll put it this way: sitting there shoulder to shoulder, tip staff comes out and says, "Listen, as soon as you're done getting your new date for your case, you got to leave because we had 40 people test positive for the turnip in this courtroom yesterday."
Oh,
Oh.
Like, dude, what are we doing here then?
Right.
It's like, I couldn't get a new date over the phone or something.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
couldn't we do this
ridiculous,
virtually?
Oh. I remember you telling me some of the stories. I was like, it's just so ridiculous. Just use Skype. Even now, just use it. Especially for stuff like that.
Everybody uses Skype now. Skype or Zoom.
I did an emergency hearing in front of a federal judge this afternoon over the telephone. It was a conference.
Okay.
It was an emergency hearing on a motion, 6 lawyers, telephone conference, federal judge on the other side, appointed by George W. Bush.
Hmm.
Everything was just fine.
That worked out okay, you're saying. Like you can actually do that over the phone.
Yeah,
right?
for certain
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
especially if you're just coming to get a new date. I mean,
Yeah.
give me a break.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I've been serving a lot of subpoenas. I mean, not so much now, but every one of them had a Zoom deposition instead of
Oh,
a few.
okay.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the technology's so good now. I mean, look, we're doing a radio show here through it. At least I think that's what we're doing. Some sort of radio
As
show.
long as me serving papers doesn't go away.
As long as what?
As long as me being able to serve papers doesn't go away, then we're
gotcha.
good.
Sure.
So what else we got? What else is 2-week-old news, John?
Oh, got some good news for those that got student loans. Apparently, but not my President Biden, is extending the loan repayments from May 1st all the way to August 31st.
Ah, interesting. This is great.
So
I always get
everybody's
calls for my student loans that I don't have. You guys get those phone calls? Always calling you?
I don't.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
ones
I
that
did.
I don't have. That's
Right.
Yeah, the ones I don't have.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Great, John. Anything else?
And Deutsche Bank is the first major bank to actually forecast, saying that a recession is supposed to begin late next year.
Wait, what is this?
Dutch Bank.
Is that like 1-year-old news?
No,
Yeah,
they're
'cause
saying
it's
next
here
year.
already,
So
right?
apparently,
Yeah, right. Is that like that might be a year old? I think. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I would. Well, not from what they're saying.
They're like,
Yeah, well,
they're like, wow, you think this is bad?
I'm sure they'll call it transitory too. This is
Wait till
this
you
is
see
all
it
just.
again the next year.
We better start investing in gold and silver.
Yeah, some gold and silver and canned goods and rice.
Oh yeah,
Seeds.
And duct tape
Yeah,
Seeds.
stay away from the baked beans.
and chewing tobacco.
those preppers out there aren't looking so crazy after all, are they?
No,
Mm-hmm.
no, they never were.
They're still looking
No,
crazy,
exactly.
but they're definitely prepared.
Yeah.
All right, John. Well, thank you for joining us for the 2-week-old news. Once again, we look forward to having you back next week.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe.
2-week-old news, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only John. 2-week-old news, gentlemen. For those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters, only in the Freedom Station, WFYL. Do we have anything else pressing that we need to get out of the way this evening? Otherwise, we're going to call it a night.
I think we're good. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of quick things in the doc. They're very quick. Don't worry, and they're not boring. You're not going to be telling me, "Hey, shut up, nerd." DuckDuckGo is rolling out a browser for Mac computers. You guys know what DuckDuckGo is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about.
You
it.
said I would not say "shut up, nerd" to that. Is that what you said?
Listen, those aren't my exact words, but
I believe those were your.
What
I
were
said
the
it was
exact words?
quick, okay? Also,
cross-examine him, Mike.
Also, Netflix lost a buttload of subscribers,
Mm.
and now they're considering putting ads in their lower tier.
Oh gosh.
Why did they lose subscribers? Because they got rid of.
I think it has to
Russia
do
canceled, I think, 700,000 accounts, and then also the woke stuff is starting to affect them a little bit, is what I heard.
Yeah, the woke virus is okay. Somebody called Anonymous is calling in. I'm afraid to pick these up.
A phone call? No, go ahead. If somebody's using
okay.
our line, our new call line.
The
we
one
should
that we
definitely
didn't
answer it
give
tonight,
out
then.
this program.
Well, they got it
maybe
from
we got
last
it
week
last
then.
week.
Okay.
Yeah, let's check it out. You
Uh,
can always hang up. But
okay.
I'm sure Mike can handle whatever,
I hit
whatever
merge,
comes
but
his
it
way.
didn't do anything. Whatever. Anyway, so they're supposed to
See if they
click
call
on that
back.
link there. I will do you the courtesy of reading the article, as Mike tells me to shut up. Netflix may finally, actually, for real this time, have to crack down on password sharing, which is another reason they.
I thought they already did. I thought that sounds like
They
2
did,
weeks
but
old.
but
Huh?
for real this time.
For real this time?
Apparently, they didn't do it hard enough. On Tuesday, the original streaming giant announced that it is losing subscribers for the first time in a decade in a letter to shareholders. To be exact, 200,000. Okay, let's try merging this call again.
Oh, they're calling back. Okay.
It did not work. You know, Skype is just one of those things.
All right.
I don't understand.
I see this other one that I think Liberty put in the doc. Prisoner chooses to die by firing squad rather than electric chair in South Carolina. I believe Rich and I, we have a colleague, one of our buddies, the third often unheard of Justice Brother, who may have done something with this case, because I remember talking to him a few years back. He does death penalty appeals with the Federal Defenders Association. And
Cool.
Federal death penalty defenders.
Interesting.
And he called me a few years back. They were looking into getting an expert witness. If they found that one mechanism was cruel and unusual, they had to provide a suitable alternative. And they're talking about perhaps firing squad. So they have an expert witness to discuss what it would look like to have somebody die by firing squad.
Huh. What are your thoughts on that whole thing, being a gun guy?
But execution by firing squad?
Yeah.
And what's the difference there? You're killing the person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the least torturous ways to go.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just kind of curious. Yeah, right. Yep, makes sense.
Not like you get a bad batch or something like that. I understand that the Eighth Amendment precludes cruel and unusual punishment. I also understand that at the end of the day, it is the death penalty, and they're not going to take you into a room that's dimly lit with scented candles and massage your ass, right?
Can you request that though? Can that be like your last?
I want to be massaged today.
I'd like a steak.
I want you to force me to smoke so many cigars that my heart stops.
I want
and
you
the
to
lavender.
make
lavender
me
candles,
relax
please.
so much that I'm dead.
All right. Let's call it an even. On that.
All right.
On that.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thanks for
guys.
tuning in. Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Wait, did we already do We the People, the Constitution Matters?
I think I remember something at the earlier side of the show, the beginning of the show, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
That was good.
Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Pastor David Whitney, Professor Phil Duffy. I'll be joining as your legal analyst. We miss you, Ellie. Daddy loves you.
Okay. Okay.